In 2025, America's housing market has hit a breaking point, and in these 10 cities, it's completely out of control. Homes sit empty not because there's no demand, but because nobody can afford them. With median prices soaring past $1 million, mortgage rates near 7%, and wages falling far behind, everyday people are locked out of the market. From tech-fueled bubbles to luxury condos collecting dust, these cities are becoming showcases of inequality. So who's going to buy all these homes? In today's video, we reveal the 10 US cities where owning a home is now a fantasy, and the consequences are shocking. Number 10. Austin, Texas. Austin was once the poster child for affordable cool, a place where tech met tacos and people could actually afford to live near where they worked. But fast forward to 2025, and the dream has evaporated for most residents. The median home price in Austin is hovering around $590,000, while the median household income is roughly $78,000. At today's 6.8% mortgage rates, a buyer would need an income of $145,000 plus just to comfortably afford the median home. That's nearly double what the average Austinite earns. The housing crisis here didn't happen overnight. During the pandemic, Austin became a magnet for remote tech workers and big-money buyers fleeing California and New York. Between 2020 and 2022 alone, home prices shot up by over 65%, pricing out long-time residents and middle-class families. Investors snatched up entire blocks of new construction homes, turning them into high-priced rentals. And now that interest rates are higher, locals can't afford to buy, and investors aren't buying either. To make things worse, property taxes in Texas are some of the highest in the country. Homeowners in Austin pay about 2.2% of their home's value each year. On a $590,000 home, that's nearly $13,000 annually just in taxes. Combine that with soaring insurance premiums, and it's easy to see why buyers are fleeing the market or not showing up at all. Austin's population growth has slowed significantly, and housing inventory is rising. Builders are pulling back. Some homes sit on the market for months, even with price cuts. It's a city in limbo, too expensive for locals, too risky for investors, and too inflated for anyone looking for a stable return. Who's left to buy homes in Austin? That's the million-dollar question, literally. Number 9. Denver, Colorado. Denver was once considered the perfect mix of mountain charm and urban cool. But in 2025, the mile-high city has become a mile high above what most people can afford. With median home prices hitting $585,000 and mortgage rates at 6.8%, the average buyer would need to earn over $140,000 annually to afford a standard 30-year mortgage here. The problem? The city's median household income is just $85,000, creating a huge affordability gap that's pricing out working-class and even middle-income families. Denver's housing crisis accelerated in the post-pandemic boom. Between 2019 and 2022, prices skyrocketed over 60% as Californians and remote workers flooded the market. Demand surged, inventory vanished, and bidding wars became the norm. But now, those buyers have vanished, leaving a cooling market and homes that sit unsold. As of mid-2025, the average time on market for a home in Denver is 68 days, the highest since 2015. Add to that a sharp rise in insurance premiums due to wildfire risks, plus Colorado's high property taxes, and you've got a recipe for buyer fatigue. Renters are stuck too. Median rents are now over $2,200 per month, up 35% since 2020, and the vacancy rate remains low. Many locals are squeezed between unaffordable rents and unreachable home prices. Even young professionals with decent jobs are struggling. A 20% down payment on a median-priced Denver home is over $117,000, not something most people have lying around. The market's frozen. Sellers won't drop prices fast enough, and buyers can't bridge the financial gap. Investors? Many have moved on to cheaper emerging cities like Tulsa or Omaha. The result is a strange standoff. Housing is technically available, but no one's biting. Denver is now a case study in what happens when growth outpaces affordability. Locals are priced out, Newcomers can't justify the cost, and builders are pausing projects. Who's left to buy? In Denver, that's becoming a harder and harder question to answer. Number 8. Miami, Florida. Miami is glitzy, glamorous, and practically unlivable for anyone making a normal income. In 2025, the median home price in Miami is now a staggering $620,000, while the median household income is only about $58,000. That means you'd need to earn more than $150,000 per year to reasonably buy an average home here. For many locals, that's not just difficult, it's impossible. The affordability crisis in Miami is one of the worst in the US. The city saw a dramatic post-2020 influx of out-of-state buyers, especially from New York, California, and Latin America. Developers focused heavily on high-end condos and luxury units, not starter homes. The result? A city full of unaffordable real estate, empty investment units, and locals priced out of their own neighborhoods. Wages in Miami have remained flat, but housing costs have surged more than 70% in 5 years. Insurance premiums have skyrocketed too, especially due to increasing hurricane risks. In some parts of South Florida, homeowners are paying over $10,000 per year just for windstorm coverage. Add rising flood insurance costs and HOA fees that can top $800 a month, and homeownership starts to feel like a luxury for the ultra-wealthy only. Renters aren't spared either. Median rents in Miami now exceed $2,700 per month, meaning even renters need to earn over $100,000 just to live comfortably. Many workers are forced to commute from hours away or live with multiple roommates. Meanwhile, Miami's homeless population has been climbing steadily since 2022. And here's the kicker. Despite these sky-high prices, home sales are slowing. Inventory is rising, especially in luxury towers where investors have pulled back. Local buyers can't afford the prices, and foreign buyers are retreating due to high interest rates and global economic uncertainty. Miami is quickly becoming a city of hollow wealth. Beautiful condos with no one to buy them, middle-class families fleeing, and essential workers priced into oblivion. It begs the question, if no one can afford to live here, who is all this housing actually for? Number 7. Boston, Massachusetts. Boston has always been expensive, but now it's entering a new era of unaffordability that even longtime residents didn't see coming. In 2025, the median home price in Boston is roughly $740,000, while the median household income sits at around $94,000. But to comfortably buy at that price with today's 6.8% interest rates, a buyer would need to earn over $180,000 per year, nearly double the city's average income. What's fueling this crisis? For one, Boston's tight supply and historic neighborhoods limit new construction. Add in high demand from students, medical professionals, and tech workers, and you've got a perfect storm. The city's home values have jumped nearly 50% since 2018, while wages haven't kept pace. Starter homes are nearly extinct, and bidding wars have become commonplace, even in the outer suburbs. High property taxes and exorbitant closing costs only make things worse. First-time buyers face an uphill battle, needing over $150,000 in cash to cover a 20% down payment and associated fees. Meanwhile, many longtime renters are locked into aging units because buying anything new is completely out of reach. Even Boston's booming job market can't save locals from the affordability trap. A teacher or firefighter would need to pair incomes with a high-earning spouse or take on roommates just to consider buying. Median rents are also punishing, now sitting at $3,100 per month, making Boston one of the most expensive rental markets in the country. Developers, instead of building workforce housing, are doubling down on high-end luxury projects. Condos in the Seaport District regularly list for $1.5 million plus, and many are snapped up by investors, not residents. That leaves entire floors of luxury towers sitting dark, homes owned but unoccupied. Boston's housing market is becoming dangerously top-heavy. If ordinary people can't afford to live here and young professionals are moving to more affordable cities like Providence or Manchester, who's left to sustain this real estate ecosystem? The truth is, not many. Number 6. San Diego, California. San Diego is often hailed as paradise, perfect weather, stunning coastline, and laid-back lifestyle. But in 2025, this paradise comes with a price tag few can afford. The median home price in San Diego now sits at an eye-watering $870,000, while the median household income is just $91,000. At a 6.8% mortgage rate, buyers would need to earn over $200,000 annually to afford a median home, nearly 2.2 times the average household income. During the pandemic, San Diego became a magnet for wealthy remote workers fleeing expensive metros like San Francisco and Los Angeles. They brought big budgets and snatched up homes, often in all-cash deals, leaving locals unable to compete. Prices surged more than 70% from 2019 to 2022, creating a permanent affordability chasm. Adding fuel to the fire, San Diego has some of the highest property taxes and insurance premiums in Southern California. Homeowners routinely face $10,000 plus in annual taxes and $4,000 to $6,000 in insurance before mortgage payments. And many homes require HOA fees topping $500 a month. Renters fare no better. Median rents exceed $3,000 per month, and vacancy rates remain low. That means most San Diegans are stuck renting, unable to save enough for a down payment. In fact, a 20% down payment on a median home equals $174,000, putting ownership further out of reach for first-time buyers. Home builders continue to prioritize luxury units and vacation homes, while middle-income families are priced out of even starter condos. Investor activity has cooled in 2025, but prices remain stubbornly high and sales are slowing dramatically. Homes now sit on the market for 60 to 90 days as buyers retreat. San Diego is facing a slow-motion housing crisis. The homes are there, the demand is there, but the math just doesn't add up for most people. Who's going to buy? It's not the teachers, nurses, or service workers that keep the city running. And without them, even paradise starts to crack. Number 5. Seattle, Washington. Seattle, once an affordable haven in the Pacific Northwest, has become one of the most unaffordable cities in America. In 2025, the median home price here is around $800,000, and that's down slightly from its peak. Yet with a median household income of $105,000, most buyers still can't come close. To buy a home at this price with a standard mortgage, you'd need to earn at least $185,000 per year, almost 80% higher than the average Seattleite's income. Seattle's housing boom was fueled by the tech industry's explosive growth. Amazon, Microsoft, and a swarm of startups created massive demand from high-paid workers, driving up prices. Between 2015 and 2022, home values rose by over 120%, turning middle-class neighborhoods into million-dollar enclaves. But now that tech layoffs and remote work are more common, the demand has softened, but prices haven't followed suit. Seattle also suffers from one of the tightest housing inventories in the country, thanks to strict zoning laws and anti-development sentiment in many neighborhoods. That keeps supply low and prices high. Meanwhile, rent prices haven't offered relief. Median rent for a two-bedroom unit sits at $2,900 a month, meaning even renters are struggling. Property taxes in King County are high, insurance premiums are rising, and new construction is limited to mostly high-end condos. A basic two-bedroom townhome can run $750,000 plus, often requiring six-figure down payments. First-time buyers are essentially locked out, and many younger residents are leaving for cheaper cities like Spokane, Boise, or Salt Lake City. And now, with home sales slowing and mortgage rates biting, Seattle's market is in a strange freeze. Sellers don't want to slash prices, buyers can't afford current rates, and investors are pulling back. Homes sit idle, not because they're unwanted, but because no one can realistically afford them. Seattle is still beautiful, still booming, and still full of opportunity. But when the cost of simply having a roof over your head is beyond reach, even for dual-income households, it's clear the market isn't working for most. Number 4. New York, New York. New York City, the Big Apple, has always been expensive, but in 2025, it's crossed into truly absurd territory. The median home price in NYC is now over $830,000, and in Manhattan that figure soars past $1.2 million. Meanwhile, the median household income in the 5 boroughs hovers around $75,000. To buy at today's prices, you'd need to earn at least $180,000 to $250,000 per year, depending on the borough, just to qualify for a conventional loan. But even that doesn't paint the full picture. NYC's housing market is deeply bifurcated. Luxury condos continue to dominate the skyline while affordable housing remains scarce. Developers have spent the last decade building high-end towers, many of which now sit partially empty. In fact, 15% of luxury units in Manhattan are vacant, held by foreign buyers or investors with no intention of living in them. For everyday New Yorkers, teachers, nurses, artists, owning a home is nearly impossible. A 20% down payment in Manhattan averages over $250,000, and co-op board approvals can take months. Even in the outer boroughs like Brooklyn and Queens, prices are still above $700,000, with intense competition for any remotely affordable listings. Renters aren't spared. The median rent across the city is now $3,400 per month, and vacancy rates remain under 3%. Many tenants are spending 40 to 50% of their income on rent, leaving little room to save for homeownership. Meanwhile, property taxes are rising, and HOA or co-op maintenance fees in many buildings exceed $1,500 per month. The result? New York City is becoming a city of renters, investors, and elites. First-time buyers are disappearing, families are fleeing to the suburbs or out of state, and young professionals are delaying homeownership indefinitely. The homes exist, but who can buy them? Fewer and fewer people. Number 3. San Jose, California. San Jose is the heart of Silicon Valley, but in 2025, it's more like the epicenter of America's affordability crisis. With a median home price now sitting at a jaw-dropping $1.36 million, San Jose tops the charts as one of the most expensive cities in the U.S. To comfortably afford a home here, a buyer needs to earn around $290,000 annually. But the median household income in San Jose is about $125,000, less than half of what's required. The tech boom of the 2010s and early 2020s turned San Jose into a playground for millionaires and venture capitalists. Massive stock windfalls from companies like Apple, Google, and Nvidia pumped insane amounts of wealth into the area, but only for the few who worked at the top. Everyone else, they got priced out. Between 2015 and 2022, home prices in San Jose soared by over 130%. What makes things worse is that there's almost no relief in sight. Zoning restrictions limit new housing development, and most of what gets built is ultra-luxury. A basic 3-bedroom home in an average neighborhood still costs $1.5 million, and a 20% down payment alone is over $300,000. That's not a starter home. That's a startup founder's home. Even rent is unsustainable. A 2-bedroom apartment now costs around $3,800 per month, making it nearly impossible for a single-income household to survive. Teachers, nurses, city workers, most have moved out to distant suburbs like Tracy or Gilroy and commute hours daily. Despite its high wages and booming industries, San Jose's housing crisis is alienating its own workforce. Even tech workers are relocating to cities like Austin, Boise, or Raleigh, where they can afford a home and still work remotely. With homes that no one can afford and an economy built on high-income outliers, San Jose's housing market is running on fumes. The question isn't just who can buy, it's how long this city can function if no one can live here. Number 2. Los Angeles, California. Los Angeles, the city of stars, sunshine, and unaffordable housing. In 2025, LA's housing market has reached absurd levels. The median home price is around $920,000, while the median household income is just $75,000. To reasonably buy a home, you'd need to earn over $200,000 per year, meaning the average Angelino falls short by more than $125,000. LA's affordability crisis isn't new, but it's now reached a boiling point. From 2012 to 2022, home prices jumped over 120%, fueled by investor activity, international buyers, and chronic underbuilding. Then came the pandemic boom. Remote workers flocked in, supply stayed tight, and prices exploded. By 2025, entire neighborhoods like Silver Lake, Venice, and Highland Park are completely inaccessible to middle-income families. High property taxes, staggering insurance rates due to wildfires, and homeowner association fees all add to the cost. A typical monthly mortgage on a median-priced home now exceeds $6,300 per month, before property tax and insurance. It's no wonder many homes sit idle, unsold, and out of reach. And renting isn't a solution either. The average rent for a two-bedroom apartment is over $3,400 per month, with competition fierce and vacancy rates below 3%. People earning six figures are living with roommates or commuting from distant suburbs like Palmdale or Riverside just to make ends meet. The construction boom LA desperately needed never materialized at scale. Red tape, zoning restrictions, and NIMBY resistance have kept housing supply choked for decades. What's being built now? High-rise luxury towers that cater to investors, not families. So who's buying these homes? Increasingly, nobody. Sales are slowing, price cuts are happening, but not fast enough to bridge the affordability gap. Many homes are sitting longer on the market as would-be buyers walk away, unable to make the math work. Los Angeles may be beautiful and iconic, but when even double-income professional households can't afford a basic home, the housing market becomes a showcase for everything that's broken and unsustainable. Number 1. San Francisco, California. San Francisco, the undisputed capital of unaffordability in the United States. In 2025, the median home price in San Francisco is a staggering $1.45 million, and that's after a slight cooldown from its pandemic-era highs. With mortgage rates at 6.8%, a buyer would need to earn over $310,000 per year to qualify for a loan on a median home. Yet the city's median household income is only around $126,000, less than half of what's needed. San Francisco's housing nightmare didn't happen overnight. Years of zoning laws that restricted development, tech-fueled wealth booms, and investor speculation created a hyperinflated market that benefits the few and shuts out the many. Between 2010 and 2022, home values rose by an eye-popping 180%. Even small fixer-uppers now list for $1.2 million or more, often needing hundreds of thousands in repairs. Rents remain brutal, too. The median rent for a one-bedroom apartment is $3,400 per month, while two bedrooms average over $4,600. That puts the city out of reach for teachers, artists, service workers, even many tech employees who are now leaving in droves. The rise in telecommuting has softened demand, and the city has seen a notable population decline since 2021. But prices remain stubbornly high, buoyed by investor purchases and limited inventory. Vacancy signs are common in luxury high-rises downtown, yet affordable housing remains a mirage. Meanwhile, taxes and maintenance fees are crushing. Property taxes alone can exceed $20,000 per year on a typical home. Condo HOA fees in some buildings are $1,000 plus per month. Add in insurance, repairs, and a steep cost of living, and you have a housing ecosystem that works for almost no one. Buyers aren't showing up, sellers aren't budging. And middle-class families? They've already left. San Francisco has become a city built for millionaires. But increasingly, even millionaires are questioning whether it's worth it. When no one can afford to live where they work, when the city's soul is priced out, and when the housing market becomes detached from reality, who exactly are these homes for?